Hello Dave is brought to you ad-free by my supporters on Patreon. Become a Patreon yourself and get your name listed as a supporter at the end of every video by following the link in the video description. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Hello Dave. Another week has passed and it's time to have a look at what's been going on in Elite and in the community around the channel. I have quite a few good news this week, and so let's dive right into it. First one, don't know if that classifies as good news, but anyway, the Guardian tech brokers have had a new series of blueprints added to them, so that they will now have, amongst other things, I think there were several things added, but the most interesting ones I think is the FSD booster and the new Guardian power distributor. Now the power distributor I have not had a chance to look at as of yet, but so I'll have to wait and see what that's all about. But the frameshift booster is a rather interesting module, I think, and I can't really make up my mind about it. So the idea is that they come in class 1, 2, up to grade 5, up to class 5. So and they will then give you a flat, that goes into your optional internal slots, as you say. And they will then give you a flat increase to your jump range. So it's not going to be a percentage increase like we've seen before with many other modules, or when you lighten your ship. This is going to be a flat increase. That means it doesn't matter if you fit, let's say you take the grade 5, would give you a 10 light year increased jump range. So it doesn't matter if you put that on a ship that already has a 50 light year jump, then you will get 60. Or if you put it on a ship that has 9 light years jump, you'll get 90. So because it's a flat bonus, it definitely favors ship with poor jump range, which I generally think is an okay idea. But of course also if you're going for that extreme jump range, you can do that, and I am considering whether I should put it on my jumper conda. But there is a drawback though, and it is a significant one, and that's why I think it's a little odd. And that is the fact that when you use it, you're using an additional 125%. And I'm not sure if this was meant to be like that, and I've actually looked at it the last couple of days, so I'm not sure if it was a mistake or if it's supposed to be like that. But just to keep that in mind, it's not an additional 25%, it's an additional 125%. So if you were using, let's say, 2 tons of fuel for a jump, you would now be using 4.5 tons of fuel per jump. By the way, that jump would be 10 light years longer. But as you can see, if you put this on a ship that already has a long jump range, that means your fuel consumption is going to go through the roof. Whereas if you put it on a ship with a low jump range, let's say you have a jump range down in the 12, 13, 14 area, then it will still be an increase, but the percentage increase in jump range will be closer to the percentage increase in fuel costs. So that's why I think that it was actually intentional that the fuel consumption was this extreme. Because that it favors ship with poor jump range. So that would be like heavy combat ships that's heavily armored, or trade ships that will carry a lot of cargo. Because if you trade ships, of course, if you've been doing any kind of trading, you will know that when you fill your cargo hold, your jump range go down. But this jump range, the jump range you gain from these internal modules, are not affected by mass. So it doesn't matter how much cargo you fill, you will always have that base 10 light year jump. Which means you're going to be a lot less affected by the increase in cargo than you otherwise would if you didn't use this module. So I can see situations where it is useful, but I think for a jumper conda ship, for instance, if you have a bubble bus that you just use, bubble taxi you just use to move around in the bubble, I don't think it's going to be that effective, because that you will already have a long jump range, and the increased amount of fuel that you're going to use will mean that you will spend a lot of time fuel scooping. So I think in the end you might be able to get to your destination in a jump less or 2 jumps less, depending on how far you're going. But the time you save taking a fewer jumps, you will spend fuel scooping. So even in a conda, I think, so it has a tremendously good fuel scoop. So I still think it's gonna be an issue with larger ships. So I don't think they're gonna be that useful for bigger ships, is what I'm trying to say. I think it's a way to boost smaller ships that has poor jump rate. So people have to use that. I think it's maybe a way to try and go away from the meta that say frameshift drive are engineered with longer range. Period. I mean, I think they're trying to move in a direction where maybe faster charge or something like that would begin to be a more viable option. But again, we'll have to wait and see. And I'm going to have a look hopefully over the next week on the power distributor, so I can see what that's all about. Because right now I haven't had a chance to look at it, so I'm not going to give you any opinion on it because I don't really have one. But that's, I think, the most interesting thing that will be going on in the game this week. And then in the community around the channel, the last 2 weeks, there's been a lot of focus on the whole player manufacturing thing and the communication problems with Frontier. And last Saturday, like a couple days ago, I launched a video about EVE Online, and there was a few comments in there saying, "Oh no, don't stop playing Elite." And I assume those people either didn't watch last week's Hello Dave, or maybe don't watch them at all, which is completely fine, of course. But as I mentioned last week, just because that I am making videos about other games doesn't mean that I'm going to stop doing Elite. It doesn't mean that I'm even going to begin covering the game that I'm playing. This is just experiments. I'm just trying out different things, see how it's received, and then I'm considering if it's something I want to continue with, or if it's something I just want to play off camera on my own time. So don't worry. As I said last week, I am going to do various different things, and just to try it out, which is going to be experiment. So we'll see where this all goes. But in the wake of all the commotion around player manufacturings, I decided that I'm done waiting. I don't want to waste any more time waiting for player manufacturing. I mean, our community has been wanting this for half a year, and nothing has really happened. So what has been decided is that we are gonna simply just move into a system called CR Draconis. If you watch the secret community event live stream on Friday that I streamed, you'll probably know this already. But the idea is that we're gonna move into the system called CR Draconis, and we're just gonna play for the faction system called Official CR Draconis Defense Party. It's an NPC faction, it's not a player faction, but that doesn't stop us from working for them and trying to increase their influence. And that's what we're going to do. So this is both going to be practice, and for both the people in the community, it's going to hopefully give us something to gather around, trying to work for that faction. And the first goal is of course going to be to increase our reputation in the system. And then try to take over the station. I believe that is possible if we go into a war with the controlling faction. I'm not really an expert on the whole background simulation thing, but it's something that I'll probably have to learn now. So it's going to be a learning process both for me and for the people involved. And if you want to be involved, I mean, everything is coordinated on Discord, which is in the description below. So I would really recommend you come over there and say hi. And there's going to be events like the one on Friday, where we're gonna get a lot of people together and live stream it and do some things around the faction, and maybe also other things that has nothing to do with that. But there will also be closed events, which is going to be events that's only going to be announced on Discord and for people who are active over there. So it will not be mentioned here, it will not be live streamed, it will just be like a closed event we just do for fun. Just gather together and do some events together and fly out, do some missions or kill some NPCs or whatever we want to do. So all that is something that's coming, and I hope that so far it's been well received, and I hope people will keep having an interest for it, because I think it will be pretty fun. And that also means that the live stream tomorrow is going to be focusing on this. I'll probably be in CR Draconis, and what I will be doing exactly, I don't know. But I might be running some missions. I might go out if the war is still going on. I'm not sure. There was the faction we were pledged to, or not pledged, but the faction we were working for was in a war with one of the other local factions, and I believe we on Friday managed to push the tide of the battle over, so they're now winning. But if there's still war still going, I'll probably take the Corvette out and kill some NPCs. Otherwise, we might run some missions. Otherwise, you just have a general look around the system, see what we can find. So I hope you'll join me for that. And the stream is, of course, as I said, tomorrow. It's going to be the usual time, which is 1900 in-game time. So drop by then, which is 9 o'clock GMT +2, and if you're in the UK, it is 8 o'clock, and if you're on the other side of the pond, then you'll probably figure that out yourself. But anyway, I really hope I'll see you guys for the stream tomorrow. I hope you liked today's video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, I'll see you guys in space.